Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. We are going to be making this cute quilted bag by Parker on the Porch. This is the Quilted Beauty Bag. This is the biggest size. You get 4 sizes of this quilted bag. You can see that there's quilting on the front but also on the back. It ends up being super cute. We are making the biggest size today. This is the 3 by 6.8 inch bag. And come join me. I'm going to show you how to make this bag. Come sew with me. Okay, I have the file pulled up on my machine. This is the first hooping. It's the back of the bag that we're making. I have my 5 by 7 hoop. I chose to use 1 sheet of cutaway because I don't want to have to pull it out between the quilting, but you can also use tearaway. And we're going to go ahead and stitch the very first step. It's going to go ahead and do the placement directly on to your stabilizer, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay guys, this is what we look like right here. It went ahead and did the placement for the back of our bag. Now you're going to go ahead and take the fabric that you're going to be using for the back of your bag. I'm going to use this right here. I thought this fabric was really pretty. And this is Art Gallery fabric. Can see right there. Okay, so you're going to cut a piece big enough to get over all your placements. So I have this here like this. Okay, so I have a piece big enough, and then what you're going to go ahead and do is you're either going to use fusible fleece, which is what I use. I really like fusible fleece. I actually use it on all my bags, not just quilted bags, but this is 987F. And it's Pellon fusible fleece. Okay, so I just buy a lot of it and I use it all the time. So you can use that. And the way that you use fusible fleece, if you don't know, you basically flip your fabric over the right sides down. So this is the wrong side facing up. The fusible fleece has a smooth side and a rough side. You take the rough side and you put it on the wrong side of the fabric, and then you just iron it on. So you iron it on and it adheres to your fabric, making it thicker. So I've already done that here. So the fabric's just thicker, okay? So that's how you do that. The other option you can do is you can go ahead and use batting. This is batting right here. You would just cut a big enough piece and you would put your batting down like this. And then you would put your piece of fabric with no interfacing on it like that, and then you would stitch the next step, which is the quilting. Okay, so you can do either way. The other thing is these bags are pretty small, so if you don't want to use thicker fabric, if you don't want to, you can still do the quilting lines and stuff without it being raised. You could do regular like lightweight or medium weight interfacing. If you're using cotton lycra, you could go ahead and use SF101 interfacing. It's completely up to you. I'm using fusible fleece here, so we're going to go back to our machine. I'm just going to place this over all the placement stitches like this and position it how I want. I want to see more of this bright flower. So place it how you want, what you want to be shown. Okay, and then we're going to go over to our machine and we're going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is just basically going to do all the quilting. I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. It finished. There's only 2 steps to making the back of the bag, so we can remove it from our hoop. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay, I use cutaway, so you just leave it like this and set it aside, and we're going to use it later. If you did tearaway, you can pull off all the tearaway now. Okay, it can come off. So we're going to go ahead and hoop the same 5 by 7 again. This time, I suggest that you use cutaway. You can use tearaway. If you use tearaway, it will stay in the inside of your bag. So I don't like the sound of tearaway inside my bags because it makes a crinkling sound. So I'm definitely using cutaway, but use whichever you prefer. Okay, so I have a 5 by 7 with 1 sheet of cutaway. I will meet you over at my machine and show you what we do next. Okay, I'm back at my machine. I'm running a Baby Lock Meridian, if you're curious. So I have the bag up. I am making the biggest size of this bag. This is the Quilted Beauty Bag by Parker on the Porch, and I'm making the biggest size. You get 4 sizes when you buy this, and this size is going to be 3 inches by 6.8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and run the first step, which is the placement step, directly on to my stabilizers, and I will come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and did the placement stitches. The very next step is to go ahead and place the zipper. This is a number 3 zipper bag. Okay, so here's a number 3 zipper. I'm going to use this one. If you want your zipper pull to open from this direction, make sure to put the pull on this side. If you want it to open from the other direction, go ahead and place it this way. You can see that there's 3 lines here. You're going to line the underneath of your zipper. You see how there's a line right there? You can line that up directly on this line right here, or you can put your zipper right next to this bottom line, just where you can barely see it all the way across, and then it will be lined up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to place my zipper how I want it. Okay. And then you can go ahead and take some tape and tape it down. I always just tape on either side of the zipper on the outside so it doesn't stitch over your tape. Okay. You don't really want it to move. Okay. You can see that I placed it right along this bottom stitch line right there. It's just placed right next to it, okay? So the next step's gonna go ahead and stitch a line right here, tacking your zipper down. It's gonna jump your zipper teeth and do another line above, tacking your zipper to your interfacing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, or your stabilizer, I don't know why I say interfacing, your stabilizer. I'm gonna go stitch that, and I'll be right back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what you look like. The zipper is tacked down now, the front and the back. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn your hoop over, and we're gonna cut out, let me get my scissors. We're going to cut out the area on the other side of your zipper so there's a place to open the bag. You can do this when the bag's completely done, but it is easier to do it right now. So you risk cutting your fabric if you do it later, so it's much easier to do it now. So I'm just cutting this piece of stabilizer out right here. So now you can see that that's where the zipper lined up right there. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do the fabric. You're going to need 2 pieces of liner, so just cut 2 pieces of woven fabric big enough to get past all your placement stitches, and go ahead and iron it. You don't need any interfacing or anything on it. You're just going to get 2 pieces of woven fabric, and then we need to do the front of our bag. So get another piece of whatever you want the front of your bag to be, and make sure it's big enough. And then I went ahead and ironed it with fusible fleece again. Again, you can go ahead and use whatever you like. You can use the fusible fleece if you like. You can use whatever you want. I believe the pattern suggests that you don't use something thick like this on the front since this bag is so small. So the pattern suggests that you go ahead and use like medium weight interfacing on this front piece, not fusible fleece. But I'm going to go ahead and use fusible fleece anyway. So choose whatever you want to use, okay? So what we're going to go ahead and do is put the back on, the liner on first. So you're going to go ahead and take the right sides of your fabric looking at you. If this had hearts on it facing you, that would be the right way you want it. And then you're going to flip it like this, okay? And then you're going to come right below this line right here with your fabric. Okay, and then you're going to tape it down. Okay, so our liner's on. It's just going to kind of hang there. Okay, and now you're going to take the front of your fabric and you're going to do the same thing. So I want I wanted this right here. So you would take the right side of your fabric facing you. If this had hearts, like the flowers, like I'm using this as the top. Either way could go since the flowers are going both directions, but I'm using this as my top. This is how I want it to look when it's finished. So you're going to put it towards you like this where you're looking at it, and then you're going to flip it up like this, and you're going to pull it past this line right here on the zipper, okay? So I'm going to pull it to right there. Okay, and then I'm going to tape both sides down. We're going to go ahead and take this over to our machine and put this back on our machine, being careful that this liner stays up and stays taped where it is, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and bring that over, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, I'm back on my machine, and you're going to make sure that your liner's just sitting up like this so it's still taped and in the right place. The next stitch step is going to go ahead and stitch one line across here, tacking your liner and the front of your fabric to your zipper and your stabilizer. I'm going to go ahead and run that. I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like. So if you have too much fabric down here, you can go ahead and trim it a little closer. Don't trim it too close or it will pull out of the stitches, but you can trim some of that if you want. And then the next step is you're going to go ahead and pull this down, leaving the liner where it is, put it back on your hoop, and then you're going to stitch the next step. Just make sure that this is flat and how you want it. You could tape it down if you want. I actually hold my hands out of the way. It's going to go ahead and stitch down, over, and up, tacking this down like this, and your liner stays up. So go ahead and stitch that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what we look like right here. It went ahead and tacked that down. Now you're going to go ahead and run the next step, which is going to do the quilting. So change your thread to whatever color you want the quilting to be and go ahead and stitch it. I'll come back and show you mine. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and stitched the quilting and a top stitch up here. It looks really pretty. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and flip your hoop over, and you're going to go pull this down. I have a little too much fabric, so I'm going to trim it real quick so it's not down here. Just going to trim it. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and pull this down, and you're going to go ahead and tape it so it stays down. Now we're going to bring this back to our machine. We're going to stitch the next step, which is going to go ahead and do the same step it did when we pulled the front down. It's going to stitch all the way down like this, tacking your liner down to your bag, okay? So I can go ahead and bring this to machine. When you get on your machine and you put it on, make sure to kind of look underneath your hoop when it's on your machine to make sure that this doesn't move so you're stitching it correctly. So I'm going to go do that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. The other thing I wanted to add, before you pull your liner down, if you wanted to add a name or anything else to the outside of this bag, you would stitch it before you pull the liner down. The purpose of the liner is to cover the stitches and make it cover your seams and stuff. So if you wanted to add a name here and you added it into your software, make sure to jump around the steps to stitch the name before you pull the liner down. I went ahead and did the liner already. You can see that it went ahead and stitched it down. I'm not adding anything to the bag. So we have that done, okay? Now we're going to add the back of the bag to the front of the bag. And whenever you do that, you're going to open up your zipper. You always open your zipper. It doesn't matter which bag you make. You always open your zipper when you're adding the back of the bag on. So the zipper's open. You want to open it far enough over that you can turn the bag through the opening, but not so far over that the foot of your machine will hit your zipper pull right here. So I have it right about here. Okay, now the other thing to know before you add the back of your bag onto the front of your bag, on every single bag, this is where you add hardware if you want to add anything to your bag. So for example, let me show you. I'm not going to add it, but let me show you on this bag. Just get like this. Say, for example, you wanted to add fold over elastic, which is just stretchy elastic, to the side of your bag and a lobster clasp. You would go ahead and put the fold over elastic through the lobster clasp, and you would place it like right here. You want the hardware on the inside of your bag. Anything you're keeping needs to be on the inside of your bag. Once it flips, it will be to the outside like you want it. But when you're adding it on to your bag as you're making it, it goes on the inside. In the end, we cut all around these placement stitches. So the way to remember that is the hardware has to be on the inside. If you were making like a purse, this obviously isn't big enough to be a purse. If you're making a purse, you would add the hardware this way on either side so you can hook things to it. You can add it anywhere where this outline's going to be, because the next steps is going to completely stitch around that several times, enclosing the back of your bag to the front of your bag. I'm not going to add this, but I just wanted to show you what you would do. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take the back of our bag and we're going to place it on the front of our bag. Okay, and you are just going to make sure this is bigger than this. So you can see the main placement of this size right here and the main placement of this size right here. You just need to make sure that these lines are on the outside of this side right here, and then you'll be fine. So I'm just going to go the way I'm going to line it up is I'm going to go ahead and go like this because I can see it. And you can see that I'm going to line it this way and this way first. I'm going to make sure these lines are on the outside of these lines right here, like that. Okay, so it's on either side. And now I'm going to make sure this line and this line is on the outside of this line and that line, okay, if that makes sense. So I'm good that direction. So I'm going to just keep pulling this down to make sure I'm past it, okay? And then I'm going to look at it this way to make sure that I'm past that line. So I'm completely past all the lines and trying to make sure that I'm straight so my quilting lines look okay. I'm just making sure, hold on. Okay, I think I am good to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to my machine, and the very next step is just going to stitch all the way around this several times and closing your bag. Make sure your zipper pull is open. Okay, so I'm going to go stitch that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. You can see that it's stitched all the way around, and you can see that I was on the inside of the lines. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and flip our hoop over and we're going to do the other side of the liner, okay? So if this is your liner right here, say this is the right side, it has hearts facing me. If you have hearts facing me, you're going to go ahead and do it this way this time. And then it will be the correct direction if you have a design that needs to go the right direction, okay? So you can go ahead and put that on, right sides together, wrong sides facing me right now. I'm gonna go ahead and tape this down, okay? And then we're gonna go to our machine and stitch the very last step, which is gonna go ahead and enclose this. It's gonna leave a hole down here for us to turn through, okay? So I'm going to go back to the machine. I'm going to put this on, stitch the last step. Make sure when you put this on the machine that you look under to make sure that this doesn't move when you put it on to your machine, okay? I'm going to go stitch that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, guys, this is what we look like. This is the top. This is the underneath, okay? We're going to go ahead and take this off. We're done stitching. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut around our bag. I like to cut from this side because you can see the hole where the hole is. I leave extra fabric down here so we can enclose it, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and cut to an angle like this, then turn and just cut around. Don't cut any of your stitches. When I get to this side, I stop, I turn the other direction, and then I cut some of this because you don't need that much. Okay, now your liner are the two pieces that are on either side of the hole. So I go ahead and I fold that up like that, and then I turn it so I can see the stitch lines, and I cut this excess off. We don't need this, we just need the liner pieces. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. to get some of the bulk. Now make sure you cut straight. Don't cut like this, because if you cut like this, you'll end up cutting into this liner fabric in your stitches, okay? So make sure you're holding your scissors straight when you're doing that cut. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and flip through this hole. I'm just gonna stick my fingers in here. These bags are smaller. They're super cute. They're great for makeup, and I actually like to put markers in it, so I'm gonna show you that. Ends up being a really cute gift, okay? It's like the perfect size for this marker bag. I'll show you. I'm just gonna flip these corners out, okay? Then I'm gonna get, just using like this turning system thing. If you have the purple thing or whatever, use, but I'm using a blunt edge right here, just so I don't poke through my fabric, to get my corners out and nice. Okay. Always make sure you spend some extra time getting your corners really well done, because that's going to make your bag look better. It's not going to look as good if your corners aren't out, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and close this hole right here. You have a hole, okay? I'm going to go ahead and use this fabric tape. Let me get my... Never leave it up here, so I have to find one that has a case. Here it is. Should get these out before I start. So I'm going to use this. It's called Fabric Fuse Peel and Stick Tape. It's just double-sided tape that I'm going to use to close this hole. You could also use glue. This is the glue I would use if I was using glue. Okay. You can also sew it. You can ladder stitch it by hand. There's lots of ways to close it, so use your preferred method. I'm going to show you how to use this. There's a non-sticky side right now and a sticky side, so I'm going to go ahead and place this along. You have stitch line right here. I'm going to put it on top of those stitches and just go ahead and get them down. When I get the other end, I'm just going to tear it off. Now I'm going to push this down to make sure it adheres. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead, flip this fabric in. You're just going to sandwich this fabric. That's why you have the extra little pieces. So once I have it how I want it, where it looks completely straight and smooth in the right way, then I start peeling up the tape. Okay, so I'm going to take this corner and I'm just going to start peeling it, making sure that this is down. And then I'm just going to go ahead and sandwich it. I just do a little bit at a time because this is gets really sticky. If you pull the whole thing off at once, it ends up being a big mess. Okay, once you pull that last part out, usually a little bit of the fabric pulls out with it. So I just stick it back down in there and then I close it. And then I just make sure that it's really adhered on both sides, and then you can see that it's completely closed. Okay. Okay. Now we opened our zipper. This is why your zipper's open. If you didn't open your zipper, you wouldn't be able to do the second turn of the bag. So now we're going to go ahead and turn it again, but this time through the zipper. Okay. And use my same turning system. Let's try to get this really good too. This is the perfect size little makeup bag for your purse, for little lip glosses. I just have a little string right there that I'm cutting. Okay. Now you can go ahead and smooth your bag out. It's going to be a little thicker because I have all that fusible fleece in here. If you have any, oh, that just comes right out. If you have any loose strings, go ahead and get it off. So this is what the front of it looks like right here. This is what the back of it ended up looking like. Okay. And then you open your zipper. This is what your inside looks like. There's no exposed seams. All the stitching, quilting lines are covered up. Super, super cute. I'm going to grab my pens real quick and I'll show you what I put in here as a gift. Usually I buy like these mead pens right here, like a set of these mead pens, and then you put them all in here. Several fit in here. I can put a bunch. You can get a bunch. You could even do more than that. And then if you zip it up, it turns out super cute. I made one of these for my daughter's teacher. I put her name on the front, and then I bought a brand new pack of the mead markers and put them in here and gave them to her as a gift. Ends up being super cute. Like lots of pens will fit in here. These are cool new. Well, these aren't the ones I was talking about. Right here, there's new Sharpie S-Note pens that are really cute. You can tell that I really like markers. Okay, so you could put those in there. Ends up being a really, really cute gift, okay? But you could also go get some really cute lip glosses in here and some makeup stuff too and put it in here. It's really cute, okay? Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or go over to the Parker on the Porch group, and I would love to see what you made out of this bag. I hope this helps you make this, and if you have any questions, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That helps me and the Parker on the Porch group, whichever place you're watching it. Also, if you hit the little bell, that notifies you of the next tutorial that I do. Hope you enjoyed this. Can't wait to see what you make. Thanks so much.